Welcome to Torah Tuesday. Here we are in Parshat Vayera this week, one of the most profound transformations in the early life of Abraham. Abraham enters into our consciousness at the beginning of this week's Torah portion in a direct conflict with God, struggling when he learns that God plans to destroy the evil cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. And Abraham stands up in a moment of justice when he asks God directly, God, would you destroy the righteous along with the evil? And to Abraham's and perhaps to our surprise, God responds to Abram, if you can find 40 righteous people in this city of Sodom and Gomorrah, then for their sake I will not destroy. And as we well know, Abraham begins a negotiation with God. 40 righteous people, 30 righteous people, 20 righteous people, even 10 righteous people are sufficient, Abraham argues, for God to save the entire region and those two cities filled with evil. And yet the story concludes there, and Abraham goes on his way knowing that the city could not even prove its righteousness with 10 people. And so the cities are destroyed as he and his family flee, moving on in the story to what ultimately, near the end of our Torah portion, becomes the most personal conflict for Abraham, the next test. Abraham is called by God to take his beloved son, his only son Isaac, and to walk with him onto the mountaintop, and there to offer him as a sacrifice. This story is riddled, in the words of the Torah, with profound conflict. For as we read the story, as we unroll the tale before our eyes, we wonder, who is this man Abram? Why does he view Isaac as his only son when in fact Ishmael has already been born as well and has been banished into the wilderness? And most of all, why does Abram agree to trust God and to bring his son to the mountaintop, where then only by the blessing of God's saving grace, calling an angel to stop his hand from sacrificing his son, Isaac is spared. And yet Abraham, Isaac, Sarah, none of them are ever the same again. For Abraham and Isaac never speak again. They return separately to Beersheba. And eventually, as the Torah portion comes to a close, Abraham's life comes to a close with this sad ending of a man of faith. This story challenges us when we read it every year again and again. For what would we sacrifice that which is most dear to us? And what is most precious to us? Is it our faith? Is it those we love? Is it our vision of justice in the world? Is it all of the above or none of the above? As we read these words of Torah this week, we pray that each of us will find the faith and the strength to make this story real.